I truly believe that if you do deep personal work, but you do not connect it with a larger spirit than yourself, you will only stay horizontal. You might be able to mine that circle very deeply and really understand it, but unless you can anchor it with a power greater than yourself, you're never going to be able to transcend it. When I try transcend it, I don't mean erase it. I mean, here's the frame, here's the content in the frame. The frame will probably always be there. That's the trauma, that's the echo, that's the trigger. But the content will not continue to play out in your life. You can really kind of start to make that conscious decision. And when I started, I always had a relationship with a pretty formless, benevolent spirit greater than myself. I didn't have organized religion in my childhood, except very culturally driven, not spiritually driven. And so as I started on creating my personal relationship with God, because a lot of my wounds were with my own interior masculine, my inner man was very wounded, which is why I looked for it in men. I needed to pray to Father God. It was really important to me. That's how I actually created the intimate relationship. And it was almost like a romantic relationship, because that at that time is how I needed to attach. I needed to attach in an intimate, almost sexual way to God to break down those boundaries initially. And then the relationship grew and blossomed. And I was able to heal, not all, but heal a lot of that wound. So I still carry it, but the trauma, the immediate emergency trauma of it is healed quite a bit. And in that, I kind of slowly decided, I just gradually gravitated towards Sophia Christ consciousness, meaning the feminine side of the power of God. And so that's been feeding me in this beautiful way. And in fact, as you start your relationship, it may be easier for you to think of it in terms of feminine, masculine sides of that. Obviously, God transcends any kind of gender, sex, anything like that. But to get your personal relationship established, whatever speaks to you is appropriate. And so the other thing that I would just offer is another thing that helped me deepen that relationship. And now that's not at the forefront, but it did help me as a tool, is I look to gods and goddesses for a physical manifestation to funnel my relationship of God through, right? So I did deep prayers with Mother Mary. I did deep prayers with Mary Magdalene. I did deep prayers with the Egyptian goddess Hathor. And really I found my soulmate in the Egyptian goddess Sekhmet, who's a little bit fiery. And so, although those all have a place as really just a conduit to pray through to, you're praying to God. But what I'm inviting you to do is, if that gives you a personal code or relationship, to get in there and start to really make that relationship intimate between you and God. That's what I'm saying. The closer you can bring God into you, and the closer you'll be able to see yourself reflected in God. And that is the more you can bring your own inner God to the surface, the closer you'll be to why you're here and what your soul is calling you to do. It just will naturally occur. And so that is what I leave you with today, to kind of ask yourself about the nature of your relationship with God. Is it direct? Could it deepen? I mean, I work every day in prayer and meditation just to deepen that immediate connection, and also to listen for my higher self, listen for guidance, make sure that it's not my ego talking. But the more you facilitate that connection, the easier the connection will become. So just look at how that feels for you today. And did I touch a nerve? Did something be like, fuck that? I urge you to look at that too. So that's really what came up for me today. I'm just extremely grateful of all the iterations that it took through for me to come into a really intimate relationship with God that continues to change and grow. And I will see you tomorrow.